What's going on, MTG Community Deeds here? We're back at it with another video. Hope y'all doing well. Today, we are authenticating the Black Lotus. We're going to show you the do's and don'ts when authenticating, how to spot fakes, how to spot the real ones. So let's not waste any more time. We're starting right now. Alrighty guys, so we have some unlimited cards that you see here. I am all gloved up because you can see what we have out. We've got it out of its case and that good stuff. So what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about the tests that we're going to do. Now there is several, I'm sure there are several authenticating tests you have all heard of. The water test, the bend test, the rip test, there's also the UV test. Now, we're not going to worry about any of those. I swear, if you have any of these cards, even if, like, any of those, even just your, minus the Black Lotus, Unlimited, Arabian Nights, Alpha, Beta, any cards like that, after seeing what Channel Fireball did about their counterfeit cards and how the bend test, water test, and all that, the card ways to essentially ruin your cards, there is other ways to do it that is just as good as authenticating with a water test, a bend test, or especially the rip test. Swear to God, if someone's like, I'm going to rip up this Black Lotus just to find out. If it's real, I'll buy it. Now, one of the comments is like, with that's like when you're looking in the old times when they would shove a woman off the edge of a cliff. If she dies, she wasn't a witch, and if she did, well, oh well. So please stay away from your water test, which is people would take a bead of water and drip it on a card, and if it rolls off and none of the paint is on, it's good. It seems incredibly stupid to me. Please don't do it. The bend test. You know what? I can show you what the bend test is. I can do that really quick. This Bloodhall Priest, and we take it from end to end, and we were to bend it and touch the ends there. The card should come back without any crease or knowledge of it being bent. Now, Wizards did come out with saying that after about anywhere from 8 to 12 times of a card doing that, it will start to build a crease. It is paper. So, again, do not, I repeat, do not do the bend test. It is just not worth it. There's other ways. Now, we're going to go over two really solid, good ways to go about this. Now, the only thing is I do not have any fake Magic cards to actually compare. I just have other cards from the set that are real. Now, once I do acquire, maybe I'll go ahead and buy a fake Black Lotus. That way we can compare them on that. Now, first what we're going to do is, if you do have a jeweler's loop, is what we have here. They usually come, it's 10 to 25 times magnification on there. It also has a little light that you can see as well. Now what we're going to do is talk about the print run and what this is for. Now when these cards are all Magic cards, when they're going through printed, it's not like they just have a piece of paper, run it through, and that's all printed on there. No, they're going to start with individual colors. Now what you can't see here is that all of this card, all this art and everything underneath minus all the black is all just little tiny dots. Now, since this is kind of a bad one to use, let's use this. Let's use here. What do we got? Power Leak. Okay, so Power Leak. You can see there's quite a few different colors. You got some blacks, reds, yellows, oranges, blues, some little blues up there. Now, when they would do this, each individual color, I think it'd be like 2 colors, they would put a layer of dots on. So they put all like the red dots on. And then I want to say it's like blue, green, and they would just work their way up. So they'd start with a layer of the red dots. Everything that needed to be red, they'd put that on. And then say they needed a layer of their blues and greens. So then they went blues and greens, and then layer on top of that, layer on top of that, layer on top of that. It was like a 5, I think, layer process. Not really sure on all cards, but there is a multiple print layer process. Now, the last print run, the last print of a card is where it really gets you. Because if you see the black, all the writing, all the black, everything was the very, very last thing printed. That way, because all of the colors you see, all of those colors, they're all just little dots. Now, to get everything to make it look crisp, nice, and all the art look good, that is why this black is the final print run. This black is what makes those lines look nice and crisp. Now, when we get into it, if you take your jeweler's loop and you have your light going into it, which we'll try and do our best to look at it here, you will be able to see what they call little rosettes. Now, these rosettes, I guess before I show you, I guess I should tell you what you're looking for. Now, these rosettes, you will see them all over the card, everywhere on the card, except on the mana symbols, and the converted mana cost, and your text below. Anything that has text on it, the rosettes should not go over, because this was the last printing on the run itself. So the rosettes itself should not go over the text. So let's go ahead and see how this card looks with the rosettes here. Do my best to get it all up and close. If you can kind of see where it says enchantment, you can kind of, it sees a little bit better there. You can kind of see some of the black. Let me see if I can get a little better angle on this. Get it focused in for you. Okay, there you can kind of see it. You can actually see little circles with little dots in there. You can see that. I know you can. All right, so that is all over the card. Now, that is what they call the rosettes. So now we're going to go into the CMC, take this, and there should not be any rosettes on the CMC itself. Oh, this is a little tough. Hold on, I might get a little rock at the camera. There we go. Okay, so I'm trying to hold it steady. Sorry, guys. Trying my best. If you can tell there, I'm trying to hold it steady. There is no rosettes on the number printing, but you can see them on the outside of it or on the CMC. You can see that there. Sorry, it's so rocky. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to do a little pause, see if I can get a little better position now. Okay, sorry about that. Had to get a little better position. See if I can hold on to this a little better. So let's go back to our back to it here, and let's check out and see if we can see these rosettes on the bottom here. All right, so if you can see the text all just straight black. Now on a fake one, on a fake card, those rosettes will go through the text. They will be on top of it. So if you have your jeweler's loop, you will not want to see the rosettes on any type of the text. Now on the text down below, and the type of card is fine. They can have them all along there, but the CMC and the text on the card below cannot have any of those rosettes. See if get a little better on those. See, even from there you can kind of see it. You can definitely kind of see it. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and let's go and check out this one here. See if it's the same thing. All right, I know it's a little tough to see, but you can definitely tell that that black is solid. Now let's go up to the CMC. Again. Oh. Come on, there we go. Very nice. Looks great. Okay, so we've got a couple of cards, and we'll show the other. We'll compare those two with that. But now we're going to go ahead into our Black Lotus. Okay, so what you see here, we're going to go through it. I do have it in its sleeve. There is no reason for me to take it out of its clear sleeve, at least at this moment, to do this test. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to still leave it inside. But let's go ahead and give a look at this and see if we can authenticate this here. All right. So, okay, this one actually lights up. If I can get the shadow out of the way. Maybe a little bit there. Perfect, huh? Kinda. Those rosettes there show up so pretty. You can definitely tell the difference there. You can see how there's no rosettes on top of the CMC. Looks fantastic. So sorry about the shaking. I'm doing my best to hold it slow, steady for you. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do one more adjusting here. I might be able to get it to where I'm gonna try something. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna stay along with it. And now, let's see if I can get this down a little bit lower. All right. See if we can get another view here of this. Okay. You can see all of that. Looks great. It looks really good. Alrighty. Now, okay. So guys, the problem with this is obviously I'm trying to show this through the camera lens onto the card. It is incredibly difficult, but I'm telling you, this is not hard to do. It is definitely not hard to do, especially if you have your own kind of view and doing it yourself, and able to get a lot closer with your visuals in your face. You can easily tell that those rosettes show up beautifully. So that is the very first test I would say for you all to do. Next is the only two that I think you should stick with. The only two and you really need to worry about is that and the light test. The light test is super, super, super simple. So while I'm talking and doing all this, you're going to see it get dark. It's going to get dark. Gonna get dark. Oh, hold on. I got one more. All right. Turn off my screens here. Okay, so you guys can kind of see still. You can kind of see. So what we're going to do is I'm going to explain the light test. So we have our flashlight. We've got our flashlight right here. We've got our Lotus as well. Now, with the light test, I recommend getting these kind of look like that, to have the individual little LEDs. That way, it's just what I recommend because it's easier when you look through them. So when we take one of these cards, if we were to take, what do we got here? What is this guy? Wall of Ice. Okay. If we take Wall of Ice, you can see we didn't do the rosette test on this, but if this is a real card, you should be able to read both sides of the print of the card to the back. Now you can see there, you can see the bottom of it, you can see magic on the top, reading perfect, and you should be able to see this. Now the way this print run goes, these cards are extremely thin, allowing the light to go through. Now I don't have a fake card, I wish I could use something to compare it to, but your fake cards are either going to allow more light in or hardly any at all. More or less, it's going to be hardly any at all. That is why this test is so widely used, and why I really like it, because the fact that it is really it's difficult for them to replicate the card stock. Now this is one where it gets a little tough, is that a lot of people say when you do use this light test, you should be able to see a blue hue, like a very faint blue hue. Now sometimes I can see it, sometimes I can't, and I know these are real cards. So we've got a soul ring right here. There's the same difference with that. Now if you look at those, I know those are both real. They're fine. Now we're going to go back to our Lotus here, and we're going to do the same thing. If you do that, you can see the individual LEDs. You can read magic just fine. It looks great. It's a very beautiful card. So that is what you're going to be looking for. Now, like I said, I'm going to turn these lights back on. Sorry about the blindingness, everybody. But with going about doing tests, especially if anything that is on the older spectrum, like what we have here, you need to stay away from the water test, the bend test, anything that is potentially harmful to the cards. If you just saw what we did there, we didn't even necessarily need to take the Lotus out of its little little plastic case, but we did just for the fact to show you guys. Now, if you look at this, especially the other thing is when you go about doing some of those tests is when they say like the bend test. I know some people still like to use the bend test. So if you will and want to use the bend test, some fake cards can pass the bend test. Some fake cards can pass this. If you've seen, there's a video that MTG Purple just did reviewing some of these new proxies. These proxies are getting insane. So I'm telling you to just be very, very wary and do your research when going to buy cards like these. So do your best. Light test and rosette test is what I stick by. If it doesn't pass either one of those, well, then you probably got a fake on your hands. And, there's other tests that you can do. I don't recommend. Please don't. Just do those two and you will be fine. Stay smart, stay safe, do your research, and you'll be just fine. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about anything, please get a hold of me. And if there are some things that I've missed, I'm planning on getting a proxy Black Lotus. That way we can do it compare to one each other with it. So yeah, well, if you guys have any questions about comparing cards, authenticating cards, or just any questions in general, please leave a comment in the comments below, and I'll get with you right away. Remember, if you like these videos, hit that like button, subscribe button, make sure you share the content. Alrighty guys, remember, goodwill and fortune will come your way if you stick to deeds every day. Peace, everybody.